Assalamualaikum students.
Salam, doctor.
Okay, uh, now we'll start with our fourth lecture, that is the joints. We have studied the skeletal system, and today we'll study the joints. So these are the objectives related to this topic. Classify body joints according to the structure and type of movement, then enlist examples for different joints, then understand the structure of the synovial joints, then enumerate the examples for the different types of synovial joints, then describe the body movements elicited at each joint type. Okay, these are some of the objectives. So we should study with what exactly is the joint. How do you define the joint? So joint, as I today said in the morning, it is a site where two or more bones come together. So whenever two bones come close to each other, then they form something called as joint. Whether or not movement occurs between them, it is not necessary. When two bones come together, it is not necessary that there should be movement. So there can be movement or there cannot be movement. As we remember, the skull, between the skull bones there is a joint, but there is no movement within them. We'll talk about all those things. Okay. So remember, joint is a site where two or more bones come together. So whenever two bones come together, two or more, then it is called as joint. So, and it is not necessary that there should be movement at this joint. Okay. Now classification of the joint. How do you classify the joint? There are two types of classification: according to the type of movement and according to the structure. So depending on movement there is a classification, depending on the structure there is a classification. So depending on the movement, if you divide, it is classified into three types within the movement type. Okay, one is called as the synarthrosis, where there is no movement, that is called as immobile joint. Where there are no movement, this is called as sutures. As I said, joint, it is not necessary that there should be movement. So in this joint, synarthrosis, there is no movement, no. Immobile means though it is not movable joint. Okay, example, best example is sutures. As I said, the bones of the skull, the frontal bone will join with the parietal bone and there is no movement at that joint. Okay, so those are called as sutures. Sutures are within the skull, between the bones. Then the second type of joint is called as the amphiarthrosis. Amphiarthrosis, slightly movable joint. Here there is slight movement, like between the vertebrae, that is called as intervertebral joint. We have seen the vertebrae, backbone. So there are many bones. There are 33 bones within the back. Okay. So between these bones there is slight movement. That is called as the slightly movable joint. That is called as the amphiarthrosis. The best example for this, these are the examples: intervertebral joint. So inter means between the vertebrae. That is called an intervertebral joint. Then coming to the third type, that is the diarthrosis. Diarthrosis. In diarthrosis, it is called as freely mobile joint. Freely mobile joint, where there is clear movement, like all the joints which we know, like the shoulder joint, like the knee joint, the ankle joint, all the joints where there is free movement, then it is called as diarthrosis. So there are, when we classify depending on the movement, there are three types: synarthrosis, amphiarthrosis, or diarthrosis. Synarthrosis, there is no movement. Diarthrosis, there is total free movement. Amphiarthrosis, slightly movable. Okay. So where there is no movement, the best example is sutures. Where there is maximum movement, there is shoulder joint, hip joint, knee joint. So here this will be diarthrosis. and where is a slight movement, that is called amphiarthrosis. The best example is the intervertebral joint. There is a second type of classification according to the structure of the joint, how it is made up of. That is called a structure. Okay. So the tissues that lie between the bones, the tissue which lie between the bones, the two bones, that classify the joint into three types again. This is called as fibrous joint, then the cartilaginous joint, and the synovial joint. Fibrous joint, cartilaginous joint, and synovial joint. What are these three types? We'll see one by one. The first type is the fibrous joint. Okay, fibrous joint. The articular surface of the bones are joined by fibrous tissue. When the two bones come together, the in between, if you see this yellow colored structure, okay, so there is fibrous tissue in between. These are called as sutures. This is the skull. These are the two parietal bones, and the two parietal bones are fused together by this line. This is called a suture. So within the suture, if you see, there is yellowish tissue. This is nothing but the fibrous tissue which is joining the two bones. So this is called as the fibrous joint. No movements are allowed in this type of joint. Here there is total fusion of the two bones. So there is no movement between the bones. So lack of joint cavity. There is no space. Cavity means space. There is no cavity between the two bones. There is no space between the two bones. So this is called as the fibrous type of joint. Types of fibrous. Within this fibrous joint, there are again three types. Within this fibrous joint, there are three types. One is called as the sutures, as you see here. These are the sutures. Then the gymphosis and the syndesmosis. Within the fibrous tissue, fibrous joint, there are three types sutures, as the sutures of the vault of the skull. So this is the vault, and this is the sutures. This line, zigzag line, this is called a suture. This is the sutures, suture type of joint. Then the second type is the gymphosis. This is very important, especially for the dental students. So here you get this, the tooth is inserted within the mandible or the maxilla. So this type of joint, gymphosis, contact between the root of the teeth and the socket in the mandible or maxilla. This is called as the gymphosis. Is the closer view. So this type of joint is called as the gymphosis, between the bone and the tooth. This is the second type of fibrous joint. This is called as the gymphosis. Very important, you should remember this. Gymphosis is a joint between the tooth and the socket. Socket means this space here, within which the tooth is fixed. Then the third type is the syndesmosis. Syndesmosis, as the inferior tibulofibular joint. We have seen today there are two bones within the leg, tibia and the fibula. So these two bones are fused together by a type of joint called as the syndesmosis. Similarly, between the radius and ulna, also there is a joint, this type of joint. Okay. So this is the first type of joint, that is called as the fibrous joint. Now we are going to the second type. This is the cartilaginous joint. So cartilage joint, where do you see this type of joint? We'll talk about that. Before that, it lacks again joint cavity, just like the fibrous joint. This also lacks the joint cavity. But in case of fibrous joint, there is no movement, but here there is little movement, allows little or no movement. Sometimes no movement, sometimes little movement is there. This is type of joint is called as the cartilaginous joint. The first one was the fibrous type. This is the second type. This is the cartilaginous joint. It can be divided into two types, primary and secondary. The first type is the primary cartilaginous joint. Okay. The bones are united by a plate of hyaline cartilage. Okay, so if you see here, this is the long bone. So I had told you that in case of children, the bones are more because the bones are not yet fused. So if you see, this is called a epiphysis, this is called a diaphysis. In between, these two are fused by a joint. Okay, so this is the hyaline cartilage. Bones are united by a plate of hyaline cartilage. No movement is possible. There is no movement between the head and the shaft of the bone. So this is the primary cartilaginous joint. The examples, the union between the epiphysis and diaphysis of the growing bone. So this is the growing bone. This is the bone in case of children where the head is not fused to the body. So there is hyaline cartilage which is fused. The second example between the first rib and the manubrium sterni, between the first rib, this is the first rib and the manubrium sterni, this joint is called as the cartilaginous joint because there is a fibrous cartilage here. The cartilaginous, the hyaline cartilage here, sorry. So here there is hyaline cartilage. Okay, this is called as the costal cartilage. Okay, so this type of joint here, this is called as the cartilage joint. This is the primary cartilaginous. Then there is second type, that is the secondary cartilage joint. Where do you see this? Bones are united by plate of fibrocartilage. If you see here, there is fibrocartilage in between. Here also you can see fibrocartilage between the vertebrae. Small amount of movement is possible here. In case of secondary cartilage joint, there is small slight movement. In the primary cartilage joint, there is no movement at all. But in case of the secondary cartilage joint, there is slight small amount of movement is there. Okay, the examples are joint between the vertebral bodies. Between the vertebra, this is the first vertebra, this is the second vertebra. In between them, there is a cartilage joint. Second and the third, again there is a cartilaginous fibrocartilage structure which is fusing these two bones. So this is called as the secondary cartilage joint. The second example is the symphysis pubis. This is called as the symphysis pubis. These are the two bones. Today we studied the two hip bones. Okay, you saw these two bones. So they are fused together at the center by this joint here. This is called as the symphysis pubis. This is the secondary cartilage type of joint. This is example for the secondary cartilage joint. Here pubic symphysis as well as the intervertebral disc between the two vertebrae. Okay, so these are the examples for the secondary cartilaginous joint. Okay, so the cartilage joint are of two types. So this is the cartilage joint we studied. There are two types within them. The primary cartilage joint. So this is the primary cartilage joint and the secondary cartilaginous joint. Okay. Now coming to the third type of joint. Now we are going to this third type. This is the synovial joint. Synovial joint. Okay, so this is the example for the synovial joint. This is the joint. This is the true joint. Okay, which can be is the best example for here. Okay, so where the bones actually have very good movements. These are the synovial joint. Synovial joint, what are the characters? How do you identify the cartilage, the synovial joint? The characteristics of the synovial joint. What are those? One is these are lined by articular or hyaline cartilage. The four parts of the bone which are in contact are always covered by hyaline cartilage. If you see here, this is one bone, this is the second bone. They are covered by a thin, very good hyaline cartilage in between. Okay, this is called as the articular cartilage. So they are lined by the hyaline cartilage. The two bones, they are not directly in contact with each other, but they are in contact with the cartilage here. This is called as the articular cartilage. Articular cartilage or hyaline cartilage always will be present in a synovial joint. The part of the bones which are in contact are always covered with hyaline cartilage, as you can see here. So they are covered with the hyaline cartilage. Okay, this is also called as the articular cartilage. Okay. The first feature is always there will be the articular or hyaline cartilage. The second is the capsule. The joint is surrounded by a sleeve of fibrous tissue which hold the bones together. You see, secondly, there is a fibrous capsule. This is the fibrous capsule. Always there will be a fibrous capsule outside. Okay, which will hold the two bones together. If not, the bones will move away. So they are held by the fibrous capsule. Okay, so first there will be hyaline cartilage, then there will be capsule. Then it is lined by inside by synovial membrane. This is composed of epithelial cells and is found lining the capsule. From inside, if you see this red line, this is the linings. This is called as the synovial membrane. Outside we have the fibrous capsule. Inside we have the synovial membrane. This pinkish line. This is called as the synovial membrane. Together, this form the joint capsule. So synovial membrane will be from inside. It is composed of epithelial cells and is found lining the capsule. It is lining the capsule, covering parts of the bone within the joint not covered by articular cartilage. So they are covering only those parts which are not covered by hyaline cartilage. If you see here, here there is hyaline cartilage. So this is not lining this part. Only where it is not lined by the hyaline cartilage, there you can see the this synovial. Where there is no hyaline cartilage, so here it will be present. So here there is hyaline cartilage, so no synovial membrane here or here. Okay, because there is hyaline cartilage. Okay, so covering parts of the bones within the joint not covered by articular cartilage. Okay, this is a feature of synovial. Covering all intracapsular structures that do not bear weight. So they are covering all the intracapsula inside. Intracapsula means inside this capsule. Okay, within the capsule, whatever structures are there which are not covered by hyaline cartilage are covered by synovial membrane. Now coming to the fourth feature, synovial fluid. Synovial fluid. Inside this, there is this fluid is secreted by the synovial membrane. Always there will be presence of a fluid inside this. Okay, joint cavity containing synovial fluid. Inside this, there will be fluid. Always there will be small quantity of fluid secreted by this synovial membrane. This membrane will secrete a small quantity of fluid always present here, which acts as a lubricant. That is the synovial fluid. Synovial fluid, this fluid secreted by the synovial membranes contains phagocytes which remove microbes and cellular debris, acts as a lubricant. It acts as a lubricant. Lubricant, if you remember, you put in your machines, okay, in your car, okay, so that there can be smooth movement of the engine. So similarly, there are lubricants which are for the joint. Prevents the ends of the bone from being separated. This synovial fluid also pulls the two bones together. Always it will pull the two bones together and it will keep in contact with each other. Okay, that is the function of this synovial fluid. Then the fifth thing with which you can identify the synovial fluid is the extracapsular structure. Extra means outside the capsular structure. What are those? One is ligaments and the muscles. Ligaments provide additional support at the most joints, and muscles or the tendons are also present. If you see here, outside there is, this is the ligament outside, which is keeping the two bones together. This is the ligament. Outside we have a ligament, and outside this there will be muscles. Muscles are not shown in this picture. Outside this there will be crossing of the muscles which help in the movement. Okay, these are the features of the synovial fluid. Always whenever you see the synovial fluid, these are the characteristic features. Which are those? One is it is lined by articular or hyaline cartilage. Second, it is always have a capsule. Then the third is the synovial membrane. Fourth is the synovial fluid, and fifth is the extracapsular structures. Okay, these are about the features of the synovial joint. Now coming to the types of synovial joint. There are different types of synovial joint. One of the type of joint is called as the hinge joint. Hinge joint. Just like in your doors, there are hinges which will help in the movement, opening and closing of the door. Similarly, in case of the some of the joints like the elbow, this is the elbow joint where there is hinge type of joint, opening and closing. Okay, opening and closing of the elbow. This is movement is called as hinge type of joint. The joint is called a hinge type. Resemble the hinge on a door. Resemble the hinges on a door. Flexion. There are only two movements taking place. One is flexion and extension. Movements are possible. Flexion and extension movements are possible. Examples for these joints are the elbow joint, knee joint, and the ankle joint. Example for these joints are the elbow joint. This is the elbow joint. Then the knee joint, as well as even the ankle joint. These are the example for the hinge type of joint: elbow joint, knee joint, and the ankle joint. The second type of joint is called as the pivot joint. Pivot joint. This is seen in case of the neck. Okay, a central bony pivot is surrounded by a bony ligamentous ring. If you see here, this is the first cervical vertebra. Cervical vertebra are those which are present in the neck. Okay, so this is the first cervical vertebra called as atlas, and the second cervical vertebra is called as axis. This is called as axis because there is a long, this is called as the rodentus. Okay, so there is long structure here. So over which this vertebra will move sideward. This is helpful for saying no movement. Okay, this is because of the pivot here. Pivot on which the first vertebra will move on the second vertebra. A central bony pivot is surrounded by a bony ligamentous ring. Rotation is the only possible movement. Rotation is the only possible movement here. Okay, rotation is the only possible movement. The atlantoaxial and superior radioulnar joint are the good examples for this. Okay, so the example for this will be the radioulnar joint and the. Okay, so the radioulnar ulnar joint as well as the atlantoaxial joint. This is the atlas and the axis. So these are called as the atlantoaxial joint, where there is movement taking place in the neck, which is for saying no. So that type of joint is called as the pivot joint. Now coming to the third type of joint, that is called as the condylar joint. Condyloid joint or condylar joint. So condyloid joint, the two distinct convex surfaces that articulate with two concave surfaces. So the two convex surfaces will be there, which will articulate with two concave surfaces. You see here. So this is the type of bone here. One is concave. This is concave. This is called as convex. Convex. This ball type, this is called as convex, and this socket type, this is called as concave. Two distinct convex surfaces that articulate with the two concave surfaces. This is called as the condyloid joint. The movements taking place at this kind of joints will be the flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, or posterior. Four movements will be taking place at this joint: flexion, extension, and abduction, adduction. Okay. So when you come to the next lab, I will demonstrate to you how exactly these movements will be taking place. Okay. What is flexion? What is extension? What is adduction, abduction, medial rotation, lateral rotation, circumduction? So this should be demonstrated. So I will, inshallah, in the next lab, I will demonstrate to you the movements. So read and come for the next lab so that I can demonstrate all the movements of this joint. Okay. So this is the pivot joint, and now coming to the condylar joint. These are the movements taking place. Four movements. Okay. So here only rotation movement was possible. In the first, there was two movements to do, the flexion and extension. Only two. Here only one, and here now there are four movements taking place: flexion, extension, abduction, adduction. Example is the metacarpophalangeal joint. So between the metacarpal and the phalanges. Today you saw what are metacarpals and the phalanges. In between them, this joint is called as the metacarpophalangeal joint. Here, metacarpal. This is the phalanx. So between them, this is called as the metacarpophalangeal joint. So metacarpal phalanx. Okay. Now coming to this is the fourth type, not the sixth type. This is the fourth type, that is called as the ellipsoid joint. Ellipsoid joint, an elliptical convex articular surface fits into an elliptical concave articular surface. There are four movements again taking place: flexion, extension, abduction, and adduction. The wrist joint is the good example. This is the wrist joint, okay, between the radius and the carpal bones. So here there will be a joint called as the ellipsoid joint. In ellipsoid joint, an elliptical convex articular surface fits into an elliptical concave articular surface. You see here, this is the convex surface and this is the concave surface. So both bones are fitting with each other. So what movements will be taking place here? One is flexion, extension, abduction, and adduction movements will be taking place at the ellipsoid joint. The best example is the wrist joint. Now going to the fifth type of joint, the best joint, the most important and common type of joint. This is called as the ball and socket type. Ball and socket type. Today we saw the femur. Femur. You saw the head of the femur. Okay, so that is the ball. Head of femur acts as the ball, and the hip bone. There is a good surface here. This is called as the socket of the hip bone, okay, which acts as the socket. So this joint is called as the ball and socket type. Ball and socket type. You see here. So this is the ball, the head of the femur, and the socket. This is the acetabulum of the hip bone. Okay, so this is called as the socket. The acetabulum becomes socket. The head of the femur becomes the ball. So this type of joint is called as ball and socket joint. Ball and socket joint. Ball-shaped head of the one bone fits into the socket of the another. So ball of the one head of the bone will fit into the socket of the other bone. So this is called as the ball and socket joint. Free movements including flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, medial rotation, lateral rotation, and circumduction. How many movements? There are many movements here. Okay, so there will be free movement, very good movements taking place here. Flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, medial rotation, lateral rotation, and circumduction. Totally 7 movements will be taking place. This is the joint of maximum mobility. Okay, so this is called as free movements in the ball and socket type. So this type of joint is a very good joint for the movements. The examples for this type of joint is the shoulder joint as well as the hip joint. Shoulder joint as well as the hip joint. Now coming to the sixth type of joint, this is called as the saddle joint. Saddle joint. Just like you sit on the horse. So horse, when you sit, you need a what you can say the saddle. Okay, where on which you get the support to sit on the horse. So this type is called as the saddle. Here, if you see here, this looks like a saddle. So that's why it is called as saddle joint. The articular surface are reciprocally concavo-convex. The, the two articular surface will be reciprocally both convex and concave depending on the type of bone. So what movements will be taking place here? Flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, rotation are permitted. Here there are 6 movements taking place. Flexion, extension, abduction, adduction as well as the rotation. Rotation can be of medial and lateral rotation. Okay. Then the example for this saddle type of joint is the carpo-metacarpal joint. Between the carpal bones you have seen is the trapezium, one of the carpal bones, and this is the metacarpal. Okay, this is the best example for this saddle type of joint. The carpo-metacarpal joint of the thumb is the good example for the thumb. The great toe of the hand is called as the thumb. Okay. Then the seventh example of joint, synovial type of joint is the plane joint. All these are under the synovial joints. Okay, we have seen which joints are called a synovial joint, where there is a cavity, there is fluid, synovial fluid lined by synovial membrane. Then there is the articular surface on the bones, articular surface. there is a fibrous capsule, everything. So all those features having bones, joints are called as the synovial joint. So this is the sixth, seventh type of the joint. That is the plane joint. Plane joint. Today we saw between the acromion process of the scapula and the clavicle. Between the clavicle and the scapula, this is the acromion scapula. This joint here, this is called as the acromioclavicular joint. A very good example for the plane joint. The opposite articular surface are flat or almost flat. So the two surfaces will be flat here or almost flat. The bones slide on one another. So the bones will be sliding on one another. The examples for these joints are, one is the acromioclavicular joint. What you are seeing here is acromioclavicular, and the intercarpal joint. Between the carpal bones, there also you can see this kind of plane joint where the two surfaces become plane. They are not convex or concave or the ball and socket type. This is the plane. The both the surfaces will be plane. Okay. So this type of joint is called as the plane joint. So here some of the pictures showing you the different types of joints. Okay. So here between the head of the humerus, with the head of the humerus and the glenoid cavity of the scapula. So this is called as the ball and socket type. You can see here. So this joint here between the glenoid cavity and head of humerus, this is called as the ball and socket type. Then the second type of joint is at the elbow. This is called as the hinge joint, humero-ulnar joint. So this is called as the hinge joint between the humerus here and the radius and the ulnar below. Okay, especially the radius bone here. Okay, so this is called as the hinge joint, humero-ulnar joint between the humerus and the ulna, not the radius. Sorry. So this is the ulna between the humerus and the ulna. This is called as the humero-ulnar joint, hinge joint. The third type of joint here seen here will be here. This is called as the saddle type of joint, saddle joint. Okay, this is called as the carpo-metacarpal joint. So this is the carpo. Here you can see here this is the carpo. This is how the surfaces will be convex or concave. And here this is the hinge type of joint. This is the hinge which are present in your doors. This is the hinge. So this is the hinge joint, and here is the saddle joint. Okay. Now going to the so here you can see all these joints. Now here there is one more type of joint within the radius and ulna. This is called as the radio-ulnar joint. This is example for the pivot joint. Here if you can see here, this is the pivot joint between the head of the radius and the ulna. Okay, so this is called as the head of the radius will be rotating. So this is called as pivot joint. Then between the carpal bones, this is called as the gliding joint, intercarpal joint. This is called as the gliding. So these are the carpal bones between them. Then between the metacarpo and phalangeal joint, between the metacarpo and phalangeal joint, this is called as the condyloid joint. Condyloid joint. This is how it looks like. Okay, condyloid joint. So these are some of the examples for the different types of synovial joints. Now coming to the clinical notes, what is the importance of knowing all these types of joints? The knowledge about the classification of joint is of great value. Why? Because certain diseases affect only certain types of joints. So there are certain diseases which are related to the certain types of joint. That's why this knowledge of the joint is very important. Like there are diseases like the gonococcal arthritis, which affects only the large synovial joint, like the ankle joint, elbow joint, or the wrist joint. The gonococcal arthritis affects only the large synovial joints like the ankle, elbow, or the wrist. Then if you see, the tuberculous arthritis also affects the synovial joint and may start in the synovial membrane or in the bone. So usually in case of the tuberculosis joint, the, the infection starts in the bone and then it moves into the joint. It might start in the bone or in the even the synovial membrane. Then it will go to the synovial joint. So this is all about this lecture where we discuss the different types of joints. Okay, so just I will show you. I told you about the the definition where two bones come together. That is called a joint. Then we discuss the classification, two types of classification. One is depending on movement and depending on structure. Depending on movement, there are three types: synarthrosis, amphiarthrosis, diarthrosis. Depending on structure, fibrous, cartilaginous, synovial. So then we discuss in detail about this type of joint, the synovial, the fibrous joint. So there are the sutures within the fibrous joint, then the ground forces, which is very important for you because this is the type of joint seen in tooth, then the syndesmosis. Then coming to the cartilaginous joint, there are two types: primary cartilaginous joint and the secondary cartilaginous joint. Then coming to the synovial joint, the different features with which you can identify the joint and their types. Okay, so the hinge joint, pivot joint, condylar joint, ellipsoid joint, ball and socket, and saddle joint as well as the plane joint. So these are all the types of joints which we have to know. So read about these joint types and prepare yourself. And in the next lab, I will demonstrate to you all the types of joints as well as the different types of movements. So if you have any doubts, any questions, you can ask me now. Okay, the code for the attendance is same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the code for the attendance. Okay, so give your attendance there and inshallah see you in the next class which will be on Tuesday inshallah. So you don't have any questions? Okay, thank
No,
you.
thank you.
Okay, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.